Hey, what's up, guys? A lot of people seem to have enjoyed my video about creating a little starting shop for the players using the Divinity Original Sin 2 Game Master mode. Another thing I see a lot of people wanting to do is have more control over creating an NPC. Within the Game Master mode, there's some stuff that there's essentially pre-built templates and things like that to use, but a lot of people find them limiting. So what you can do is using Divinity Engine 2, which is the editor that comes with the game, you're able to create a little more. You can create NPCs with more control over what they look like, what abilities they start with, what weapons they start with, etc. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how to do this. Now, this is a project that is I just started. It's brand new. It's going to be exclusively for creating these NPCs. This is just a generic basic map. The map doesn't matter because you're just going to make an NPC and save it. So first thing to do is get set up on a playing field you can see pretty clearly. Now you want your root templates, which if you see down here, which is what I'm using. So get that set up. Otherwise, you can just find it up top here. It's this first little icon. So open that up. I'm going to go to the essentially categories. If you right click on one of these categories, it'll isolate it. We want to do character, and this will drop down all the characters in the game. Now, if you click on them, you can see them in the preview over here. All different types, your animals and stuff like that. Pretty much every character that shows up in the game. Now, to bring them out in the playing field, you can just drag them out. Or if you don't want to do that, you can click there, click the place a new object, and then voila. Doesn't matter, it's the same thing. So we're going to start off, we're just going to make a, let's say you want to make, because I use bandits a lot in my games, we're going to make a specific bandit. Now in the search thing, you can type in any combination of words and then it'll cut it down to what you're looking for. So let's make a lizard bandit. Of course that didn't rogue. You know what, let's just make it even simpler. We're going to do lizard, male, armor. So you see over here to the side, this is kind of the system's generic lizard character that will have armor. So we're going to drag him out here. Just click to drop him. Now there he is. Pretty much got leather armor on right now and a sword, not quite bandity enough for my likes. So you want to select the character you've brought out. Go down here and click on sidebar. Pulls up all these details. The first thing you want to do is rename the display name. We're going to call this guy Lizard Bandit. Then under the name here, not root template, but under the name, give it some sort of system type name. Call this lizard. Oop, I can spell. Underscore bandit. Underscore male. Underscore A. So you can kind of differentiate. Now, as far as the appearance goes, visual set indices. I'm not sure how to say that. I'm going to go with indices. You see these numbers here? That's selecting from a limited number of options to decide the color, the armor. Click a little dot, dot, dot here. Pulls up a whole brand new window. Biggest hurdle with this part is controlling the camera because it's different than the rest of the editor. So let's get a good shot. I tend to like this angled view. There's our lizard guy. Now you'll see here, these are different lists of the hair / helmet you can choose. And it goes all the way across the board here for the different parts. Just start down here. Click left and right arrows and we'll cycle through what he looks like. Now, I'm going to make him a pothead. Worst joke ever. Alright, so let's see. Or you can make him buckethead too. I like just the hood because I'm making a bandit guy, so let's go with this kind of chainmail thing. It looks slick. Next one here is his head, his actual face. Kind of like that beak. This is the top armor here. Now you'll notice that these same things can be changed in GM mode, but what this mode will let you do is apply specific weapons and spells to them. Again, you can do all this in GM mode, but this lets you isolate it from the beginning and save it, so that way you don't have to drag the character out into GM mode, do all your changes there, it just locked in that way. So let's see. I kind of like this one, the chainmail. It suits the hood with the chainmail in it. Arms. I don't think this bandit's going to have full-fledged armor here. Kind of like this patched together version. Metal piece there. I'm going to go with that since we've got chainmail, we got a little bit of plate metal there. Um, Lower body. That one fits, but almost too perfectly. I kind of want something. I actually kind of like this. All right, feet. All with these little cheeks. All right, so now color, pretty obvious. This is going to be the color of the lizard itself. I like this dark color here. Secondary color, which will mostly affect the hair, but as you see in his face, it's stuff around. It's green. Color of the armor. I tend to go kind of more realistic when I'm doing my armor. Like, no one has teal chainmail in my games. They tend to do silvery black, some red, some brown. I'll try to do something a little more creative for this one. I like this grayish blue color. It's a good color. Of royal blue. Now the actual art. Gold looks pretty slick. It's a little more regal than I want for this character. Just the straight silver is kind of nice, but I want something dark to contrast with the black or like dark blue. And it's a little more fantastic looking than I usually choose, but I kind of, yeah, there's not anything dark. You know what? This green is slick. I like that. Dark green. Alright, then click down here in the corner. Save. Now if you right click and choose select, I will say that I love the editor, but man, it gets tough to control the camera sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm on board with that, like little details in the tail. Alright. I like it. Alright, so now we've got this designed here. Now these, the character category here, this is going to be pretty much the important stuff. You can choose things like death actions. When he dies, it creates a puddle of blood. You can change that to a puddle of electricity, a puddle of smoke. You can change it to all sorts of stuff. I have one NPC right now that's like the fire left behind. Equipment, this is going to be what your NPC begins with. Now, to be perfectly honest, a lot of this stuff, you're not going to really know what it means. I've been playing with this editor since launch, so for about a month now, almost a month to the day, and I still don't know what most of it means. I'm assuming Gen is just general stuff, so general brutes, melee sword. We want this guy to be a bandit, and I'm wanting him to have dual daggers. Let's see where that is. Magistrate. There's just classes here. You can choose just one of the classes would start with. There's tons of these, and again, I don't know it. Apparently, I can't talk when I'm doing this. So I'm gonna go with just class here. We're gonna go with Shadow Blade, or how about Rogue? Rogue start undead. So he's essentially gonna start with what I'm assuming will be probably 2 daggers. A lot of this stuff you won't really mess with. You can, of course, but you won't really need to. Inventory type corpse, so when it dies, what kind of stuff will be on the body. Scripts can have some sort of effect here, can kind of help decide some of the things they do. One thing that I have found very helpful for my GM mode campaigns, you can do general wander. Now, what this will make the character do is when you place it down in your campaign and you unpause it, the character will actually wander around independently. This is not really recommended if it's going to be a character you want to control because they will just wander around aimlessly the whole time. One of the levels I have built is a city level, and I place several NPCs out with the wander script. And so when the players enter that city, there's just people walking around. Um, it just helps. It makes it feel a little more lived in, a little more realistic, I guess. Okay, down here, let's see. Skills and skill set. This is where you give them abilities. See from this drop down, there's all kinds of stuff. So if you just want to make this NPC have the same stuff that a rogue would do, class rogue. Now, once you create this character in the game, it's going to start with all the abilities that just a starting rogue would very likely start with. If you want to get more specific, you can go to the skills category right here next to it, and you are bombarded with every ability between the main characters, NPCs, and bad guys in the game. One tricky part is I found a lot of these names do not correspond with the actual names of the moves in the game, so you kind of have to guess sometimes. But let's see. So we want this guy to be a rogue, but let's say he's a rogue that has some sort of magical ability too. We gave him these blue colors. Let's call it something with water, a water specialty. So choose the skill name here, type in water, boom, everything with a water sort of thing is brought in. Or actually, I'm going to do skill school. Now anything with water specialist is in this list. So let's take something really simple. I want to have projectile ice shard. I like that one. Then we're also going to choose one more. How about we'll make it rain water. So you find it here, click the little over button, and they've got it. So now when this character is created, he's going to have that. Stats, this is where you can essentially change their starting statistics. So they're not their statistics, but their stats, their strength, their intelligence, finesse, all that stuff. Once again, this is pretty much a grab bag. There's a whole lot of stuff, and I don't really know what most of it is. But if I know that if I want this character to be lower level, you can have it. Well, of course, now it doesn't show. Some of the stuff you can look it up by the part of the game campaign it'll be in, like Fort Joy, or you can. There's different prefixes to determine what part of the normal game they start in. We're not going to do that, I guess, since it's not showing up here. So general bodyguard, general dwarf citizen, all that stuff. Let's go find general lizard citizens. What it starts with. Mage, trader. I'm not really interested in those. Try this. Let's just type in rogue. Undead skeleton rogue. So let's try that. Whoa, or anything. Nope. Lizard male hero. I'm gonna go with that. Again, I don't know what that means. It's my so for a lot of this, you kind of have to do some trial and error. You may create one NPC, maybe drag a few of them out, set up some different stats, some different skills, so you can kind of figure out. So that you have a bigger test subject. You can drag all of them into your GM mode, look at their stats, remember which one is which, and kind of help figure out which one do you want to use. You can set their alignment here, whether he's a good NPC, neutral, whole huge list of different things. If this is going to be a boss in your game, you can click true here, and whenever their name pops up, it'll have that cool gold border around it, which doesn't change anything about their statistics, but for the players, they can look at that NPC and tell they're a villain. You can adjust their speed here, how quickly they run, quickly they climb. You don't really want to adjust any of this stuff here. It determines how, if they cast a shadow and whatnot. One fun thing you can do if, say, you want your character to be bigger or smaller than normal. This is the This is the normal size of your lizard. Want to be a little bit bigger? Let's do 1.2. Now he's a pretty big character. Say you want him to be a little bit smaller. We'll do 0.9. Now he's a smaller lizard, which might make sense since he's supposed to be this stealthy little guy. That's all I'm going to change for now. So you want to right click this character when they're finished. Export to root template. This is going to bring up a lot of the same options you see over here, but in this menu here. You don't really want to change any of it because really you should have decided that over here. If you want to just go straight this route and manage all those elements from this list, that's always an option. One thing you do want to do is go down to GM, spawn section, and subsection. Whenever you hit E in GM mode, it pulls up your list of creatures and items. The categories are humanoids, animals, etc. So let's say humanoid. Now you can create your own subsection. If you don't want to be limited to what's already there, you can do it. So we're going to call this one Lizard Bandit Guild. Your name is already set down here. It's the name you chose under, right before the root template, and create. So there he is. So let's delete him. Let's look in our list in the root templates. Lizard Bit, and there's the character he made. Drag him back out. You'll notice now got 2 daggers at his side. Now let's go ahead and save this. Get these out of the way. Load up actual play mode. Except I is him and you can't in this. That's okay. Let's send our starting NPC over here. We will attack him. Well, for some reason I had the mindset this is going to be GM mode style. I wonder, they should be testing stuff since I'm doing a video. Let's see if I can decide that they're a player. Where did I see that option? I believe there is an option to make them a player. It might have been, I don't know. I probably should have looked this up beforehand. But there's your character. So now when you go into GM mode and you hit E and you pull up your creatures panel, under humanoids there should be a new subcategory that says Lizard Bandit Guild. This character will appear there. You know what? I guess I could just show you. Let's do that. I apologize. This is going to load a little slowly. I know I could edit this all out, but I'm not going to. From being honest, I'm just gonna doing a service. I don't feel like I should have to do any more work. And I'm also lazy. This will be referred to as the exciting part of my tutorial. Game Master prepared. Make sure I've got the new one added. It's called Twitch Tutorial. What we'll do is we'll load one of the levels on one of the scenes. I'll pull up our menu here so you'll be able to see in that list where it's added the Lizard Bandit Guild category, and we'll drag him out onto the playing field. We'll take a look and see what skills and abilities he has, what his stats are. And again, you can still adjust these things and edit them when you're in this mode, which is really the whole point of GM mode, is to be able to edit those things on the fly so you can run your own games. But again, using the editor to kind of predetermine some of that stuff speeds that process along. And again, if you want to change sizes, you want to have them start with a certain weapon, you can do all that in this mode. Now, I will say that the customizing the weapons to adding different abilities, different stats, again, it's all doable in the editor, but it is a little above my pay grade. I don't quite get all the details and the subtleties of it, so I have not successfully done that yet. All right, so here's our map. Let's load up one of the scenes. These scenes are all custom scenes that I've made that you can get on Steam or in the Nexus Workshop if you want to play with any of these levels. For fun, let's load the Flooded Skull Cave. This is the last level I made in the editor. Alright, so here's our scary cave. I had some guys fighting earlier, if you can't tell. Let's get rid of these folks. Alright. Alright, so humans. Lizard Bandit Guild. Here's our lizard. There he is. He's got his daggers out. And you see down here, he's got those abilities we set for the generic rogue. He's also got his spells that we decided we wanted him to have. Now you'll notice right here it's saying it's not memorized. Very likely he does not have the slots for it. So let's see now. Stats. So the one we set, I believe, was just general something or other. It's just straight down the middle. Nothing exciting at all. Of course, as you know, in Game Master mode, we can adjust all that. I kind of like doing my characters to just basic stats that lets me adjust them later on. So for example, he's a rogue. We'll give him 11 strength. Actually, let's level him up a little bit. He'll be level 4. A little bit more on the finesse. Give him some more memory so he can have some more spells. His wits are probably going to be pretty high. And what's fun here is you can still go in and make those adjustments that we made in the editor. The only difference now is that you don't have to keep remaking this specific setup you see here. Now, one thing I do recommend, the changes we just made, we gave him, we adjusted the stats, we made him higher level. If you drag this character straight back out of here, it's going to have the stats that we originally had. It's not going to be any of the changes. So once you've got this in a place you like, go ahead and save him. We'll call him Lizard Bandit, level 4. Now if we go to our saved characters, Lizard Bandit, level 4. It's going to be this guy and not the original setting. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Hope it's been informative. Again, all the stuff I did in the editor, for the most part, can be done in GM mode. The nice thing about doing it in the editor is that you have more fine control over it. Those skills I gave him were very quick. You don't have to worry about dragging stuff over. Most people, I say most people, some people might prefer the GM mode method. Some people might prefer the editor method. I just like the editor method because I can define a lot more presets right off the bat, and then they're hard-coded into any game I'm using that has that add-on applied to it. Then once you make your final adjustments, save them, and they'll be in your export for your. And I find it lets me get the game going a lot quicker because I can make a rung of PCs. I guess as a last little bonus here, I will show you what I was talking about with the wandering characters, because I know a lot of people are probably going to like that. Civilians wandering. I'll plop them out, and they're all just walking around. And that's because I gave them that wandering tag. Now, they're brave because this looks like a terrifying place because there's piles of bodies everywhere. And a burning, scary skull face. Yeah. So, hopefully that's been helpful. If you're interested at all in more of these videos, let me know in the comments. I enjoy making them, and I like sharing what I've learned about the editor. If you want to get any of these, the levels I've created, like this one here, which I call Flooded Skull Cave, because I'm a very creative namer, you can get that on Steam or Nexus for GOG games. I will post a link in the comments. If you have any questions, concerns, anything to say, let me know. Thanks, guys.